Checking in, checking in. Give me about 10 seconds. Flex a little bit. I should put my hoodie on to let old Killa Mike know I ain't playing with you about my Jesus, man. But I ain't going to take my hoodie on. I ain't going to get ghetto with him. I like Killa Mike, actually. Give me about 10 seconds. I'm not going to wait for folk. I'm going to go ahead and do what I got to do because I got stuff to do today. I ain't going to let Killa Mike mess up my joy today. But we're going to go ahead and give a quick response. I might not have the best response, but hopefully folk who are theologians, I see my brother Leon is on here, so I know you going to say something to him. I see Pastor Dion is on here. I see y'all. Y'all, I'm just going to give y'all a little bit to work with, just a little bit, and I'll let y'all pastors go on and knock this out. But give me about 5 more seconds. I ain't going to take but about 5 minutes of your time to go ahead and get on Killa Mike for a minute. I've been thinking about it all morning. I read this piece this morning, and I'm getting ready for, actually, I'm preaching tomorrow, but I ain't going to let them mess me up. So basically, this is what, how you doing, Brother Ronald? Good to see you, man. So basically, look, that's how I look at it. You know, the bottom line is Killa Mike got me all messed up this morning. And I ain't going to let him mess y'all up. You know what I'm saying? That's just the bottom line. I ain't going to let him mess y'all up. Now, you know, this week, I praised Killa Mike all week on his educational stances, his support of public schools, his call for increased wages and resources. I'm with him. I stand with him on the creation of African-centered schooling. I stand with him on Black educational centers of excellence, devoid of sort of this salvific complex, sort of a salvation complex among white educators and missionaries. I'm with you, Killa Mike. I swear I'm with you. And I also feel you, bro, on disconnecting with those private and parochial schools that see Black lives as a sort of a pertinent but not germane to the American ethos. I get you, Killa Mike. I get you on these schools subjugating identity for assimilation. I get you. I'm with you on that. But what you ain't going to do today, Mike, what you ain't going to do yesterday on February 9th is come for my Jesus. That's what you ain't going to do. And I said ain't, and I'm going to use ain't here in these next 5 minutes because I'm going to give you the hood response. I ain't going to give you the PhD response. But what you ain't going to do, Killa Mike, sir, is devaluate the Black church based on some sort of narrowed line of antiquated reasoning couched in some hotep philosophical jargon. That's what you ain't going to do. You're going to have 1 million likes just because you Killa Mike. You're going to have some folk that's out there that's going to be doing their thing just because you Killa Mike. But you ain't going to come for me and all my intellectual gangsters on this thing that you do. First of all, the Black church, most Black churches in America don't even have a picture of white Jesus hanging up in their church. I don't know where you got that from. Most grandparents of the 1970s and like toss those pictures away of the white Jesus that you are referring to, brother, hung that away in the 70s and the 80s as detrimental to the very Black psyche. I mean, to the psyche of Black development, right? So what epoch in history are you arguing from, brother? You know what I'm saying? Well, my entire life, I've had a picture of a Black Jesus. I went to St. Sabina in Chicago. I had a Black Jesus all my life. So that's what you ain't going to do. And any of you listening, and y'all know, yes, my pastor, my dad, his father, Michael Flager. Yes, he a white man. And I know some of y'all already trying to look at, well, is Dr. Bailey trying to reimagine, Flager as some white man in the savior complex? Well, I'll fight you on Flager. I ain't gonna lie. I'll fight you historically. I'll fight you physically. I'd fight you philosophically all at once. As Cornel West says, I was a gangster until I met Jesus, but now I'm converted to a loving Christian with gangster proclivities. So I know that I can fight you if I need to. But let me move forward because I'm being kind of taken away. But if we fail to acknowledge even Killa Mike, we can't fail to acknowledge white lives that have been willing to live and die for Black liberation. We can't do that, Killa Mike, sir. What we need to what we can't forget are people like John Brown, people like Lucretia Mott and the Grimke sisters and all those other Quakers, William Lloyd Garrison and Charles Sumner. I know what you're going to say. Well, we don't even have to worry about those white abolitionists if these European colonizers just left us or where we at. I hear you, Killer Mike, but that's not what we're talking about here. Although you like to quote Elijah Muhammad, I ain't gonna get there, but you like to quote Elijah Muhammad and who he himself might agree with you, right? Let's not quote white people. Let's not get white people involved in the conversation. But the very Malcolm X, especially after 61, understood the need to have diversity in civil rights movements. So for me, I'm personally grateful for people like, like Reverend James Reeb and Michael Schwerner and Andrew Goodman and Viola Gregg Luzio. I'm thankful for people like them. Then Killer Mike, this is what tripped me out in that article. It left the rigors of religion, right? He said, Christianity left the rigors of religion. You spend a good, you said something as if you spend a good lifetime of goodwill in the promise of being saved. What the Sam hell are you talking about? Even in pure theological senses, the idea of salvation is not of man. So what are you talking about? Further, as I assume, you mean we Christians are worshiping a God whose only begotten son has been historically misapplied, misrepresented, misused, and misdirected for social, political, and racial, ethnic, and geographical purpose. But that's not the culpability of Jesus. That's the culpability of them knucklehead folk. You blame Jesus on slavery? You blame Jesus for lynching? You blame Jesus for structural inequality in America? Or do you blame Jesus for global, the global conquest of Romans? Do you blame Jesus for his own crucifixion? Okay, wait. Okay, so you must blame Paul then, right? Well, Paul is where you better find your research, because in this very article, you quoting bringing your wife to a strip club as somehow a justification for, you contributing to the exploitation of women that somehow is good for your marriage. That's something that Paul has a word or two for you, bro. Killer Mike, look, man. Give me about 2 more minutes and I'll be done. I got stuff to do today. I ain't gonna let you raise my blood pressure, brother. But Killer Mike, listen. When you quote Elijah Muhammad, as if now I'm supposed to allow you to reify him and deny the very son of the creator, no matter what good this reified prophet may have done for black folk, I don't disregard that. But are we really going to sit here and act as though that there has not been sins levied against both those who follow the Nation of Islam, in which he was the spoken prophet and spokesperson for? Come on, Killer Mike. You're not going to deny Jesus and reify Elijah Muhammad in my presence. Look, Mike, let's look at it this way. I'm even down with your message of sort of self-apotheosis. I'm down with that. And ironically, you have something in common with your boy Kanye West in that regard. To look inward and find the God in you is not just solely spiritual enlightenment, as you and millions of other people who act like God don't mean nothing to you operate under. Oh, I'm not religious, I'm just spiritual, as if turning inward and looking to the God with you ain't linked directly to the Jesus Christ that we're talking about. This ain't some new age theology. This too is Jesus. And your very argument that you're using, brother, is antithetical to Christianity. That is to say, your beef is not with Christianity. It seems to be with Christians who refuse to do and honor the teachings of Christ. That beef is not with my granddaddy and so many other sons and daughters whose generations of Christians, as it is those perverted interpretations of the gospel consistent with violence, torment, anti-gay, anti-poor, anti-black, brown rhetoric and practices. I'm with you on that, brother. But what you ain't gonna do is come for Christians. You can come for those folk who adhere to that malaise, but you ain't gonna come for Christmas. I mean, you ain't gonna come for Christmas either, but you ain't gonna come for Christians. And look, I like you, Killer Mike. I ain't gonna lie. And you are an important voice in hip hop, bro, but don't come for the Jesus that brought many people out of personal, spiritual, and even economic bondage. Don't come for the Jesus that strengthened Harriet Tubman or Sojourner Truth or Richard Allen or Absalom Jones or even Frederick Douglass. Matter of fact, maybe you're speaking a sort of Douglas-like emancipatory theology. Maybe that's what you're doing. But understand what Douglas said. Douglas said that there's a Christianity of land and there's a Christianity of Christ. But they are different, bro. Don't come for Christ, Big Mike. Don't come for Christ, Killer Mike. And those of us who represent Christ, well, Mike, look, you can have your fortune and fame. But give me the Jesus that allows me to love my way through hurt. Give me the Jesus that serves as the wind behind my back and allows those who wasn't going, as the civil rights folks say, who wasn't going to let nobody turn them around, Killer Mike. Give me the Jesus that teaches me, as Andre Crouch says, to love all my enemies and all my friends, and that won't let me be the same, to tell the world that I've been born again. You can have all that other mess you put on your website, Killer Mike, but listen. Do you have the historical precedents to say that slave masters messed up black folk by not teaching them freedom as much as bondage? Maybe. But do you not think that black literate folk got to the New Testament? Do you not think that? Do you not think that Maria Stewart and other early slave preachers in private times turned from Old Testament language of submission and bondage to a New Testament of salvation and glory? Do you not think that, Killer Mike? Have you even heard of the old spiritual song, I got shoes, you got shoes, all of God's children got shoes? Everybody talking about heaven ain't going there, heaven. That's a revolutionary song that realizes the hypocrisy within white Christian thought and practices being put upon slaves. Don't disregard that history, brother. Then you give this weak inductive argument about religious practices as being slain in the spirit, as if one's inability to be slain is somehow proof that Christianity is flawed. Man, miss me with that, man. That we're like, it's almost like, you know, I think you said something about, you quoted Hughes, and you said, well, Hughes said, I can't even leave the church without receiving the Holy Ghost. And I just sit there waiting, and then I finally had to fake it. This Pentecostal tradition is not endemic. It's not specific to religion, bro. Call and response is. A subversive joy is. Singing and praising is. But I don't have to get slain in the spirit in order to love the very Jesus that died for our sins. Come on, man. Look, lastly, I think you quoted Elijah Muhammad when you said, don't hate on other cultures, study them and be successful in their endeavors, or something like that, as Elijah talked about. I'm with you. But here is where I challenge you, brother. And all my theologians who may listen to this and forward this, do their own more nuanced analysis of what I'm saying right now to you. You say you studied at Morehouse? The same Morehouse that Lawrence Carter is the dean of? Brother Harold Bennett? Brother Martin and the great Howard Thurman? You somehow lost that in your study of religion at Morehouse? Man, give me a break. And to me, I give you two people to think about. Alexander Crummell, who you would probably appreciate. And right there in Atlanta, great Benjamin E. Mays. Go to his high school, read his plaque. You need to study them people, study them folk. Study Cheryl Sanders, study Carrie Day, study Jackie Grant. I study even my former teacher, Kelly Brown Douglas. Look, man, we love you, bro, but don't come for my Jesus. Have a great day, man. Go to church, Killer Mike, and go to a church that loves you. I thank all of y'all to step through. I ain't got much time to deal with y'all. Y'all can reflect, read this article, reflect on this, have your own interpretation. I got stuff to do today. I'm preaching tomorrow. I'm taking young people over to Central State for this basketball game to get a piece of this liberatory Jesus through the form of a black congregation. So God bless you. Be safe. I'm out of here, man. I'm mad. Bye.